when it comes to PBS data collection, before we write our forms, before we even decide the data we want to collect, we have to make an important decision. We have to ask ourselves, how do we want to collect this data? Paper or digital? Both have their pros and their cons, so let's unpack these. Hi, my name's Eddie Drury. I've been working as a PBS practitioner for the past 13 years, and I make short educational videos about data collection. So let's start with paper forms. The first big benefit of paper forms is simplicity. Do your data collectors know how to read and write? Yes? Great. They already have all of the skills that they need to use this data collection strategy. There's no training, there's no explanations needed. They can just pick it up and run with it. Another big benefit of paper-based data collection is it is reliable. Pen and paper is an exceptionally reliable and mature technology. It doesn't crash, it doesn't run out of batteries, it doesn't lock you out of your account because you forgot your password. It just works. Okay, so what about digital data collection? The first big benefit of electronic data collection is it's just far more time efficient. With paper forms, once you've got your data, you're going to have to scan them. You're going to have to enter it in a spreadsheet before you can do anything useful with it. And as PBS practitioners, we are too expensive to be spending our time doing data entry. There are far more better ways that we could be utilizing our clients' hours. Related to this point is the availability of the data. If we have to spend hours scanning the forms and doing data entry every time we want up-to-date data, we're not going to do this often. Realistically, we're probably going to do it a couple of times a year. We're going to do it when we need to write our behavior support plan and when we need to write a report for the NDIS planning review. On the other hand, with electronic forms, it depends on the specific system you use, but most of them will allow you to automatically upload the data to the cloud so it can be available in real time immediately whenever you need it. Another advantage of electronic data collection is that we can enforce data integrity. In a paper form, staff can enter whatever they want, and they will. This is something that drives me crazy when I use paper forms. No matter how clear and simple I make my questions, staff will find a way to misunderstand the question and to enter junk data. For example, let's say we have a really, really simple question, like how many hours sleep did Gary get during this shift? When we have paper forms, we're going to get some good answers, but we're going to get many, many answers that look like this. What is this? 60 hours? That doesn't make sense. There isn't 60 hours in a shift. Did they mean 60 minutes? That'd be a weird way to write it, but maybe. Or there's a tiny dot there. Maybe that dot is meant to be a decimal and it's 6.0. I don't know. There's no way for me to know. Here is one of my favorite ambiguous answers. A while. It feels like an answer to the question. It feels like there is some information captured in those words, but there isn't. This is absolutely meaningless. It's one of my least favorite words in the English language. What about if we just simply can't understand what they've written? Is this a weird 1 or a weird 7? I mean, I don't know. What am I supposed to do with this? Do I take the average and call it 4? And of course, the classic, the blank page. For whatever reason, on this day, the staff member simply decided this question didn't apply to them. So a big downside of paper forms is that inevitably the data we get is going to be a mess. Best case scenario, we'll have to spend a bunch of time cleaning up the data, or more likely, a bunch of our data is simply going to be unusable. This is where electronic forms shine. With electronic forms, we can simply enforce data validity. So here is that same question in DIBS. How many hours sleep did Gary get during this shift? Now you can't see this, but on my keyboard right now, I'm furiously tip-tap typing all of my letter keys, and it won't let me enter anything that isn't a number. Similarly, let's try and enter 60 in there and save this. It's not letting me. What about another nonsense answer like -8 hours of sleep? Once again, it's not going to let me. Or what if I just try to leave this question blank? Again, it's a mandatory field, so it won't let me. In this way, I can actually have the computer sort of sit over their shoulder and make sure that they're entering correct data for me. As you might be able to tell, for me, in my opinion, the advantages of electronic data collection tend to outweigh the advantages of paper-based data collection. And where it's up to me, I'm generally going to lean towards electronic data collection. However, of course, it's not always up to us. As practitioners, we don't have the right to make this decision unilaterally. We need to consider what works best for the team. We need to consider the preference of the participants themselves. So those are some of the things I'm thinking about when choosing between paper-based data collection and digital data collection. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please comment below. And if you'd like to learn more about Dibs, the PBS data collection tool I used in this video, check out dibsapp.net. Thanks.